Have you ever wanted to play your Wii U with an unsupported gamepad, such as the Logitech 710 wireless gamepad? What about a PlayStation 4 controller? What about with a mouse and a keyboard? If that sounds like something you're interested in, then I want you to keep watching, because this is How to Soft Mod Your Wii U Part 3. What you're going to need to get started is a Wii U that's been soft modded with Mocha Custom firmware. You can use HacksCheat if you happen to have it. I will put links in the descriptions for my how-tos part 1 and 2 to get yourself Mocha Custom firmware. You're also going to need a USB controller. Now optionally, you can also use a PC with a Wi-Fi client to support more controllers. So I'm going to go ahead and read off the list here of supported controllers that are just plug and play with USB. So basically you plug these into the USB slots of your Wii U and they will work right away with this program. So you're going to need an Xbox One or a 360 controller, a PS3 or a PS4 controller. You can't use the new DualShock 4 controllers with the two light bars on it. You have to use the old PS4 over the USB. And you can also use keyboard and mice, and the mouse can be routed to the right control stick, or it can control your touchscreen on your gamepad. And you can also use the GameCube controllers if you have the Wii U USB adapter for them. So that is pretty awesome. If you want to support more controllers, say you don't have any of those, you can use a PC on the same Wi-Fi as your Wii U. It's got to be on the same network. You can either use a USB or an Ethernet to connect them, but as long as they're on the same network. And you're going to need either a PS3 or a PS4 controller. Now, because of the PC, you can use this over Bluetooth or USB with the old or the new. And you can also use Xbox One and 360 controllers over the USB, Bluetooth, or if you happen to have the receiver for the Xbox 360 controller. Now, you can also use a Logitech 710 wireless gamepad. Now, these are pretty popular as they have XInput and direct input, and you can use those over the Wi-Fi client as well. I have one. I will be showing you guys that. If you happen to have a Switch, you can use a Switch Pro controller over the Bluetooth. And you can also use Wiimotes and nunchucks as well as the classic controller in games that don't support them, if you do a little trick that I'm going to show you with WiiUSoft. Now, pretty much anything is possible that has XInput. If you've got an XInput controller and you can connect it to your PC, there's probably some way that you can figure out how to use it with this client. So, I hope that wasn't too much info at once. Let's get on to the next part. First thing you're going to do is go download HIDtoVpad. I'll put a link in the description. Grab the latest nightly version. So I'm going to go ahead and grab 0.9J, and this is the CF5 version. So download that. This is the file that's going to be going onto your SD card with the configurations for controllers in it. If you already have this program, I want you to replace it with this newest nightly version, okay? If you're planning on using controllers over your Wi-Fi from your PC, then you're going to need the HIDtoVpad network client. So go ahead and grab the latest nightly for it. Now, your browser might say that this is a dangerous file. It's because it's a Java file. Go ahead and keep it. Now, regarding Java, if you don't have it and you plan on using controllers over the Wi-Fi client, you're going to have to go and grab Java. So I'll put a link in the description. Go ahead and download it. Just a warning, when it's installing, it might try to get you to install the Yahoo toolbar, so watch out for that. Head over to your downloads folder, right-click HIDtoVpad, and extract it to here. This is going to leave you with a WiiU folder. You can go ahead and just drag this WiiU folder into the root of your SD card, and if it asks you to replace anything, just go ahead and replace it. Now I'm going to go ahead and just delete this and delete the nightly zip, and now you're left with HIDtoVpad. I will meet you guys over on the Wii U, and we're gonna get this rocking. Safely eject your SD card and then go put it in your Wii U, and I'll meet you down on the gamepad. Go ahead and power on your Wii U after you have inserted the SD card. Go ahead and load up the Homebrew launcher through the web exploit or however you do it. We need to enable Mocha custom firmware. Go ahead and load Mocha. After loading Mocha custom firmware, boot back into the Homebrew launcher. Go ahead and look for HIDtoVpad. Click on it and load it. Now you should be looking at a screen somewhat like this on your gamepad. It's a little bit different up on the TV. Now the only thing that you need to do here is figure out which device you want to emulate. So you can pretty much add 4 WiiUPro controllers, or you can emulate the gamepad. And you need to go ahead and hook your device that you want to use up to the USB slots on your Wii U. Over here you can see I've got a USB keyboard and a USB mouse plugged into my Wii U. I have the mouse plugged into the rear USB port and the keyboard plugged into the front. So what you want to do is click the control you want to emulate on the left side here. So I can go ahead and emulate the gamepad with the mouse and keyboard. Go ahead and hit A on the gamepad, and then it wants some input from the keyboard, so I'm going to hit enter. And then go ahead and press the X button to add a mouse to the keyboard. So I'm going to press X and then click the left button on the mouse. And now I've got a mouse and keyboard. Now press the plus button to apply the patches. So now we can control the gamepad with our keyboard, which is pretty darn cool. And you can press F1 and that'll change it to cursor mode, where you can kind of just blindly click on the touch screen and hope that you're kind of hitting what you're aiming at. So that's kind of interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Splatoon. So you can see here I'm using W, S, and D to control, and I can also use the mouse to look around. I can click to shoot, and this is honestly just so cool. So shift, I can go under, I can go around as a squid, I can shoot my opponent here. This is just so cool. I can't believe it. Look at this. Ahaha! So I'm back in HIDtoVpad. I just launched the Homebrew launcher and it'll bring you right back into it. It's because you can only run this program once with no other homebrews going on. So I'm going to go ahead and add another controller. I'm going to hit the third one here, press A on the gamepad, and then I've got my PS4 controller hooked up here. I'm going to go ahead and hit the X button, and there we go. I've got the DualShock 4 controller hooked up, and now I can pretty much do anything. I can play with my PS4 controller, I can play with my WiiUPro controller, I can play with a keyboard and a mouse. This is some next level stuff right now. And so if you're playing Splatoon with someone and you didn't have a real WiiUPro controller or any other controllers, you could use a PlayStation or an Xbox controller to emulate the WiiUPro controller, and you and your friend could play Splatoon together. I've loaded up Pokken Tournament, and you can see I am using a PS4 controller right now. Haha, this is so sick. I don't play this game very much, so I'm not very good at it. Now I want to show you guys how to get the network client set up. Go ahead and open up the Homebrew launcher again. It should take you right back into HIDtoVpad. Now that you're back into HIDtoVpad, take note of your Wii U's IP address up at the top here. And I'm going to meet you guys over on the computer. real quick, I just want to disconnect these, so I'm going to click on the mouse and keyboard, press A, and then press B to disable it. And then same with all these, I'm going to disable the Pro Controller as well as the DualShock. So what's up, guys? We're back here up on the computer. I'm going to be showing you the Logitech 710 wireless gamepad. It connects with one of these little tiny USB receivers, so I'm going to go ahead and plug that in to my PC. And I'm also going to be showing you my PS4 controller connected over the Bluetooth. You can use the USB, but I love Bluetooth, so I think this is going to be pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on my Bluetooth. My PS4 controller is already synced. If you're having trouble syncing it, you have to hold the PlayStation button in the middle as well as the share button. And now to reconnect it, all I do is press share and the PlayStation button. And now it's popped up as a wireless controller. And the Logitech should already be connected. It's probably already installed its drivers and it is ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and open up HIDtoVpad. So this is the network client. Right off the bat, go ahead and type in the WiiU IP address that you saw in HIDtoVpad. And you can see, if you go into the options, you can scan for HID gamepads, XInput controllers, or other HIDs. Make sure other HIDs is off most of the time. Usually your gamepads aren't going to show up as those. So now you can see here, if I hit connect, my Wii U is already on. It's already on the HIDtoVpad. We just came over here, press connect. We're now connected. You can see my DS4, that's my PlayStation 4, the DualShock 4 controller over the Wi-Fi. If I click that, now it'll be able to be used. This XInput 1.4, this is my gamepad. So this is the Logitech gamepad. I can go ahead and click that as well since it's on XInput mode. If you're having trouble getting the Logitech to connect, then it might be on direct input mode, and you can flick the little switch at the back here to put it onto XInput. And that's literally as simple as it is for most of the controllers. I'll meet you guys back down on the gamepad, and we'll have this PlayStation 4 controller and this Logitech wireless gamepad going over top of the Wi-Fi and controlling stuff on our Wii U. How crazy is that? So we're back down here on the gamepad, and I've got my PlayStation 4 controller connected over the Bluetooth, and there's my Logitech wireless gamepad. So I'll show you. I'll hit A on the gamepad and hit X on my PS4 controller, and there we go. It's connected wirelessly over the Bluetooth and then over the Wi-Fi. And then I'll add a second WiiUPro controller with my Logitech. And there we go. It just picks it up as the XInput, and you're good to go. You now have two controllers that were never made to be played on the Wii U, and they work fantastic. It's pretty mind-boggling. So now press start to apply the patches. So I've loaded up Super Mario 64 on the Virtual Console here, and I'm playing with the Logitech through the Wi-Fi client right now. Now I've switched over to the PS4 controller. Oh, I'm getting my butt kicked. Loaded up Breath of the Wild. I really love this Logitech gamepad. And you can see, it's working fine. Whoa, that moose just totally appeared out of nowhere. So if you wanted to learn the configurations or change them around a bit, open up your SD card, open up the WiiU folder, and then open up controller. Now these are going to be all of the configurations for your controllers. Let's say I had an Xbox One controller and I wanted the buttons combination to be just a little bit different. So I'm going to go ahead and right click XInput and I'm going to go to WordPad. So open it in WordPad and it should open up pretty easy and nice to read. So the VID and the PID basically identify your controller, so that identifies XInput controllers. And you can see it's very simple to change things. These are all of your gamepad buttons. So VPad is basically your gamepad, or the WiiUPro controller. So the A button is routed to the B button on the Xbox since they're swapped technically. So maybe you're used to using the A button and you want them to correspond with the letters on the actual controller. You could go ahead and change this over to A and then change B to B. And then they'd go ahead and correspond with the actual letters that are on your XInput gamepad. Now all you would have to do is save this, and since it's already on your SD card, it's now saved. Now when you connect an XInput controller, the A and B buttons are now swapped. So if you guys recall, I said I was going to show you a little trick on how to get Wiimotes to work with games they're never supposed to be used with. Now, if you haven't gone and downloaded WiiUSoft, I'll put a link in the description. And I will also put links in the description for the two controller configurations that I've currently figured out. One is for Breath of the Wild, and the other is for Splatoon. Two games that you can't play with Wiimotes. Because of WiiUSoft, WiiUSoft allows you to turn a Wiimote into an XInput controller. And if you guys recall, HIDtoVpad can handle XInput controllers. So we can hook this up over the Wi-Fi client and use the Wiimote to play Wii U games. So if you need to load up one of my config files, what you'll do is click that wrench, go to load, and then Breath of the Wild Wiimote. Go ahead and open it. And now you've got a Breath of the Wild Wiimote. Just a quick note, you might want to click Properties and change IR pointer off-screen behavior to snap to both axis. Or you could try to play around with these. I find snap to both axis works the best for me. And for calibration, you might want to just go with default. You can go up here and set the Breath of the Wild Wiimote or the Splatoon Wiimote to auto load every time you connect your Wiimote. So just in case you want to do that, open the network client back up. I've connected it, and you can see here's my XInput. This is my Wiimote. I'm going to go ahead and hit the check mark on it, and I'll meet you down on the gamepad. So down on the gamepad, I'm going to hit Gamepad, and I'm going to hit A, and now I'm going to hit a button on my Wiimote. Ta-da! Hit start to apply the patches. I've loaded up Breath of the Wild. I love this kind of stuff, guys. You just don't understand. Doing stuff you're not supposed to do on consoles is the greatest. So just a quick note, guys, you can see my Wii is on down there, and that's because the Wii U shuts off its sensor bar when you're not using it. You're not using it in virtual Wii mode, so I have to supply some power to the sensor bar to make the motion controls work, or not the motion controls, but specifically the IR pointer controls, which I have wired to the camera controls. Since there's no control stick on this one to control the cameras, I needed some sort of fix. So it's kind of hard to get used to, but you can figure it out. The plus button is run, home button is jump. So now you can run and jump easier at the same time by holding plus and then hitting the home button. You can swing your sword. I know it's a little jumpy because of the camera, but it's the best I can do at the moment. I honestly just think it's so cool. You can hold the back button, the B button, to pull out your arrows, and then this allows you to aim with the Wiimote. If you adjust the camera sensitivity, you can, make the camera controls a little bit easier. I like it around normal. So you can hit the 2 button to pull up your warp menu, press the 1 button to pull up your save menu. If you want to switch between stuff, you got to kind of get used to that. And you can also press up on the D-pad, or press the right on the D-pad to pull up your weapons, and then you can swap between them. By doing that, you get used to it. It's the best I can do right now, like I'm saying. So here I am in Splatoon. In options, go ahead and turn off motion controls and turn your camera sensitivity way down. With my Wiimote controls,